Hello, everybody. It's time for more lilac.
Off to a great start.
Lilacs.
This case should never have come to trial.
I don't think it's fair to call my clients frauds. Because one time I turned into a dog and they helped me. Thank you.
Your Honor, we would like to withdraw our plea of not guilty and enter a plea of guilty.
This trial is a travesty. It's a travesty of a mockery of a sham, of a mockery of a travesty of two mockeries of a sham.
If we are to have faith in justice, we need only to believe in ourselves.
And the truth shall set you free!
How do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Oh, guilty, but with a real good excuse.
I think the truth will come forth.
You can't handle the truth!
Hello, everybody. It's time for more Law Light, brought to you by Foreman Watson Holtry, fwhlegal.com. We are in the library studio at the high-rise white brick edifice, but let me clarify something, PJ.
Okay.
All these years, I've been referring to our office as a high-rise white brick edifice.
Yes.
And for people that know the inside to that, it evolved from other names like the high-rise white tower, and then we decided it was a brick edifice, and
we had some controversy,
as we always do.
Yeah.
I do want to, for those who know, it's a joke. It's a fun way to introduce the podcast. But the reason I mention this is because yesterday, PJ, I was looking at the internet. Do you ever peruse the internet? I guess they call that surfing.
Mm-hmm. I surf that turf.
And the reason I was doing that is because next door there is a 3-story building. It's a story higher than us.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a bit risier.
It's a high-rise brown brick edifice.
Mm-hmm.
And it's 3 stories high. And earlier this week, I saw a new sign on that building, and it says Morgan and Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
They are our competitors. They are a nationwide firm.
Yeah.
They tout themselves as being the biggest personal injury law firm in the United States, which I have no reason to quibble with them over.
Right.
But yes, they moved in right next door to Owensboro's personal injury law firm. That is Foreman Watson Holtry. They moved in right next to the high-rise white brick edifice, 2-story building.
Right.
And because of that move, where they just slid in right here next door, I was doing a little surfing of the internet and looking at their website.
Yeah.
And so, I thought, well, I'll start my investigation by just looking at what they have about their Owensboro office. Now, if you've ever been to Morgan & Morgan's website, it's got like a gazillion offices. It's like you scroll and scroll through all the offices. Sure. Right. Okay, so you find Owensboro, and when you find that, it pops up a screen, and lo and behold, they have a picture of their office. Their Owensboro office, that is at 608 Frederica Street. Now, for some reference, our address is 530 Frederica Street, so even numbers are on this side of the road. So right next door to us from 530 is 608. The reason I'm getting around to something here.
That's right, listeners. It's leading up to somewhere.
I look at the Owensboro office. When I look at the Owensboro office of Morgan & Morgan, they have a picture of what is genuinely a high-rise edifice.
Yeah.
It's 30 stories maybe, glass mirrored.
At least.
Yeah, 30 to 40 stories, glass mirrored building. They have that as the picture of their Owensboro office. Now, I am sitting in the the library studio here at Foreman Watson Holtry, and I am looking out the window right now at the building next door. And I can confirm it is a 3-story brown brick building with maybe a few mirrored windows, maybe a few. It is not a 40-story glass mirrored high rise. I was like, really? That's what we're doing. That's what our, and it struck a nerve with me,
Right.
obviously, because I put it on my personal Facebook.
Well, that's why we changed our profile picture on Facebook to the Empire State
I
Building.
know. Can we make ours like a castle?
Yeah.
Like
We
a
can do that.
massive, the
Like-
high-rise white castle or something? Oh,
We
that's
should
the
just
White
we should just
restaurant.
change
That's
ours
the
to a
restaurant.
one-story house.
Yeah.
We'll just go in the opposite
Go
direction.
the opposite direction.
Isn't that picture, correct me if I'm wrong, or do we know? Isn't that picture of their Daytona Beach location?
I don't know. I've heard Daytona Beach. I've heard.
I was just in Daytona recently, and we drove by Morgan & Morgan, and it looked a lot like that.
It's
building.
nice to be the intern and be able to go on trips
was
to
spring break.
Daytona.
That was spring break.
I've never been to
So,
Daytona.
I have, but
Dirtona.
I went to Holiday World one time.
Aw, cool.
I did too.
It didn't even have all the holidays.
If you look out our window, there is no shiny high-rise edifice. There's a
Yeah.
and more, and so I took to Facebook and said, like, well, what is this, right? And people have. There's been a resounding response to this post. All right,
Right.
People saying, just keep being you, keep doing what you do, and so we will. It made me think about, believe it or not, my introduction for the podcast, where all these years I've been saying high-rise white brick edifice. So we are changing it officially today,
Okay.
and I'm gonna reintroduce the podcast. How's that?
All right, let's do it.
All right. Hello, everybody. It's time for more Law Light, brought to you by Foreman, Watson, Holtry. Today we are located in the library studio at the 2-story white brick edifice at 530 Frederica Street.
Perfect.
How's that? Is that better?
It's down
It's
to earth.
more- yeah.
It's like more
It's
realistic.
authentic.
You know, the Bible
Yeah.
says, don't worry about the speck of dust in your brother's eye when you got a plank in your own.
Yeah.
Right? And so I can't be picking at these people about their 40-story high-rise mirrored building here in Owensboro. Find it for me, please.
Right.
If I'm going to be calling my place the high-rise white brick edifice.
Well, here's the thing. You can look at it one of two ways. One, they're ashamed of the building that they now reside in. So
I
they're
have a
using...
question. And this may be
I wasn't talking. Sure, go ahead.
maybe totally no, this plays into what you're saying. This may be not the right thing to say, but it's a genuine question that I have, and it is this. Could it be because they just moved over there, correct?
Yes.
This is very recent. Do you know how on Google, like, sometimes, a practice or a clinic or something will move buildings and they just haven't, like, switched around their information? Is that totally wrong?
That's stupid.
Could that
is what
be?
that is.
Okay.
People.
Okay.
Because
I didn't know if maybe they,
and
like...
yes, I'm eating my lunch.
I mean,
I didn't know if maybe they just hadn't...
Change the
They-
picture
You know what I
yet?
mean?
They've already been in Owensboro. They've been like
Okay.
a block away at another
Okay.
building. So if there's anything on there, it should be a picture of their last building,
Okay,
which
true.
was a 3-story red brick edifice,
Right.
with
I
no
didn't know
windows.
I didn't know they had a location in Owensboro.
So go back to what
I was
you were
just
saying.
trying to-
I'm
So-
going to pick up where you're laying down.
I was just saying. So to me, it says one of two things. Sorry, I'm eating peanuts. That was
ASMR.
provided to me by Kendall. And peanut M&Ms.
Come on.
And raisins. Anyway, so they're either one, ashamed of the building that they're in because it's not a skyscraper,
Right.
which says a lot. Or two, which is I think probably the more realistic reasoning behind it, is that they're just not 100% honest. I look at Morgan & Morgan as any company that's, nationwide. It's a franchise. And what else is a franchise? McDonald's. You know what you don't get when you go to McDonald's? Quality. So that's how I look at it. I'm not saying every attorney in a Morgan & Morgan location is, not a quality attorney. But if you're representing other people and you can't even properly represent yourself, what does that say? You can go to McDonald's, or you can go somewhere else that's better, like Colby's.
Or Dee's Diner.
Or Dee's Diner. I mean, Dee's Diner is way more
Right.
quality than what McDonald's is.
Absolutely.
Speaking of which, Dee's Diner needs to start doing a D rib. You know how they have the McRib? They should do the D's rib.
Well,
But always have it, never let it go away.
I think it's a combination or sort of a merging of those two. I think they want the image that they're big, and they want that image across all platforms of whatever they're doing. Their billboards talk about their size. Their television channels talk about their size. And lo and behold, when you look at their website, every one of their office looks like it's in some beautiful, big, lavish building, right?
Right.
And so whether it was intentional or not, what's there as a placeholder is misrepresentative. For those, did you come prepared with a soundbite?
Oh, crap.
You let me down.
I did. Just like Kendall let you down. Now
Why
I
does
let you
everything always steer back to me?
This is getting much better. All right, I got to go back. We go to last week at Dee's Diner when I said to Kendall, I have given you 2 projects and I'm ready to hear about it. And you had this look of like, oh, 2? What do you mean 2?
Fear. And
so you did report back on 1, that being the Johnny Depp trial. And you did a pretty good job on that. I mean, C, maybe B- job at reporting on that. And then I was ready to hear about the Supreme Court leak of the opinion that's going to overturn or alter Roe v. Wade. And you said, well, I don't remember you telling me that, Travis. And so on the way back to the office from Dee's Diner down there, I listened back at the other podcast. And lo and behold, it is very clear, almost a minute's worth of content where I talk about I have 2 things I want you to do. Number 1, I want you to do this. Number 2, I want you to do that. Okay? And in fact, and this is where it gets better, is that today's episode, right here and now, we were supposed to be revealing that I was right, PJ, by having the entire soundbite prepared to play back. And the reason, hold on, don't put your finger up at me, big boy. The reason,
thank you.
The reason that we had this conversation. I said, here's what I need. I need it. Oh yeah, I got it, Travis. I will do that. I'm going to have that ready. I said, that'll be perfect. And so then I publish our podcast to my cousin's hotline text message, and I said, you guys got to listen to this one. We were talking about my cousins. We go into that, and one of my cousins writes back and says, you absolutely, positively told Kendall it very clearly that she was supposed to do 2 research projects, not just 1. And I was like, yeah, I said, we've got something in store for her. We're going to have the soundbite ready. So my cousins, PJ, were waiting for this to all unfold with me playing the soundbite to Kendall. But now today, I have no soundbite, and I have you chewing trail mix with this look like
2 grave disappointments.
Like, I don't really care, Travis, that I messed up.
Well,
listen.
This kind of goes back to like your first few days here, PJ.
I apologize for one. But here's the great thing about this is that all I have to do is go roll that beautiful bean footage.
Since PJ.
Look, we've seen enough lawyer movies. We know how lawyers and their cocaine is, okay?
Next. Has there been a verdict?
Yep.
Okay, now, has there been any more insight? Because I'm just following up on the last podcast. There was 3 main substances to get this big reveal that you're going to reveal today, that you want to see my mouth when I find out. The second thing was you discussed the Johnny Depp trial.
Right.
Weird way of putting it.
And the third thing was you discussed the Supreme Court leak on the new opinion that's going to overturn Roe versus Wade. Right. Has there been any investigation into, or has there been any revelation as to where it came from, who it was, and are there going to be all kinds of hearings about that?
Well, not to my knowledge. I'm a terrible journalist. I'm a better lawyer than I am journalist. I have not done much follow-up work since the last podcast.
Well, we have a clerk this summer, and so what we're going to do is assign her the responsibility of, by the next podcast, letting us know some updates on these 2 stories. We want an update on the Johnny Depp trial. And, okay, Kendall?
Okay.
And we also want an update on the investigation into the Supreme Court leak. Have they identified potential people who are responsible for it, and where are they taking that?
This sounds like a great task for an integrated strategic communications.
No, I was going to
major.
say. I was going to say.
Your memory is fantastic.
You're the new legal correspondent.
That one of we have like 4 branches in ISC, and one of them is journalism. Isn't that so fitting?
So it sounds like you're perfectly equipped to update us next week.
It sounds like I've already done a lot of some TikTok research on the Amber.
There we go.
Can TikTok and research be put in the same sentence?
But there are a lot of I've watched a lot of the video clips of her testimony. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
She's really.
I need more than that. I
know you need more, but that's a good
where
foundation.
We are in the trial.
Right.
Has the defense? Are we on the defense case? Yeah, we are on the defense case. I know that much. I think they've plaintiffs arrested and they're on the defense case in chief. So hey, we're gonna get those updates, PJ.
We will.
Kendall.
Well, Kendall, I think the other main reason is that I've been told more than once now that of the 4 people in the room, you're the only one that can have an opinion on the Supreme Court leak. And then the audio just
Beautiful
played.
Bean.
Oh.
Now she didn't hear it, but the proof is for the listeners. Now I know it was a gotcha moment for her.
Okay, so
but I mean, even if she doesn't hear it, we know that you said it.
Okay, well then let's count down 3, 2, 1, and have a period of silence, which will be where you insert.
Do we have
B-roll
to?
or
Do
whatever
we?
it is.
It's already been inserted.
I've already admitted that I was wrong, and I've already apologized and done the further research.
Wait a minute. I don't know if I
So
heard
I
an
don't-
admission that I was wrong.
Yes, I did.
When?
You came into the office, and I came upstairs, and you said, I said it clear as day, and I said, "Ah, dang it, ugh, oh my god."
I think
And
I
I
said,
said, "I'm sorry."
White.
Yeah.
I said it clear as day. White.
Yeah.
He's wanting that admission though on the podcast.
I know. See,
Well, there it is.
there. What is?
Here's your bowl back. Thank you.
Of course. It's like feeding my pet. Look at his little bowl. Yeah, that did happen.
Big boy
You're
with a little
right.
bowl.
I was wrong. It's all good. Won't happen again.
Okay, Kendall.
Only Jesus is perfect.
What do you think about that?
I never
PJ?
said
She
I
got
was
you
perfect.
there.
Huh? Pulled the Jesus card.
Yeah. But that's, I mean, that's kind of like someone who says whatever.
Yeah. Big deal and walks
Yeah.
away, right?
Or someone who chews trail mix into the microphone.
I know. Ugh.
All right, Kendall. We're gonna let you redeem yourself.
Okay.
Real quick.
I have some notes.
And do you remember the code on your phone? That's like, oh my gosh, look at that, PJ. And for obviously no one else can see this, but
Seeing is hearing.
She has like a lot of notes over there.
Mhm.
All right, so Kendall.
Now from here, it looks like she wrote an entire op-ed or something.
She
but
cut and
really, it's
pasted
just complete. She was just typing.
She cut and pasted it.
Just
That's not
typing. So it's just a bunch of random words put together.
It's not true.
Kendall.
Yes.
Would you enlighten us, my cousins in Ohio?
Sure.
And Indiana.
Hey, Ernie.
And that's right, she knows it's Ernie. And
he's going to be
He's a big fan. He's a big
fan. Can you enlighten them and the rest of the world, please?
Right.
As to what we're hearing on this leak.
Right. Okay. So the leak occurred May 3rd. And this is the first time this has ever happened in the history of the United States and the history of the Supreme Court. This has never happened before. There's always been, minor leaks in the press, things that should have come out a little bit later, but never this early and never like of this magnitude. And one thing that's interesting about Roe v. Wade is that it's not minor. It's very controversial. It brings in morals. It brings in religion. It brings in reproductive rights. It brings in a lot of different stuff. And so it's pretty heavy, and it's going to take a long time before they make an ultimate decision. But do you want me to go back into Roe v. Wade?
No.
Okay. We all know it.
I think we all kind of have a basic
Okay.
idea. Yeah.
Okay.
We want to know, are they investigating it? What are they finding? Is this politically charged, motivated?
Here's what she says. Oh, wait, I didn't read about that part.
No, I did. The leak was 98 pages. And
the leak was how many pages?
98.
98
The opinion.
pages?
Yeah, it's 98 pages. Yeah.
So.
And the opinion as of now is
did
that
you have a hard time reading all 98 pages?
he's funny. He's got jokes.
Was the entire
I did not read
98
all 98
pages
pages.
about the Roe versus Wade?
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, and the opinion as of now is that it will be overturned at the federal level, which means that, you know, states will return back to they can have their own limits and restrictions on abortions, and there's not going to be the 15-week rule anymore. So there was a case.
What's the 15-week rule?
So right now, like when Roe v. Wade was passed, it allowed all states to allow women to have an abortion up to 15 weeks.
Okay.
And, you know, obviously things have progressed further, different, you know, situational.
So now
things like
states
that,
could
but
allow like
longer term.
7-month terminations.
Yeah.
If it passes the
Yeah.
state, right.
But the minimum, the overall federal rule, it was with Roe v. Wade was 15 weeks.
Okay.
And that was for every state. Every state had to have that.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's leaked. It's out there. They will find who did it pretty fast because there are under 50 people who have access to those original documents. They get passed around for review and they get passed around for internalized discussion, but not a lot of people see those documents. And so they'll find whoever did it pretty fast. The motive behind it, nobody's really sure yet. A lot of people think maybe it's intentional because whoever did do this is about to get a lot of fame. There will be a lot of, consequences, but ultimately, 10, 15, 20 years, they'll have a show, a book, a documentary, the whole nines,
Right.
because they, leaked the first ever Supreme Court opinion. So that's obviously a big deal.
And
they'll
then
get
eventually
a lot of
there'll be
fame
a
from
judge
that.
on a show with Carol Baskin.
I know, yeah. It'd be like a panel
Right.
of all of them. But yeah, they'll probably discover who that was soon. And they wanted to...
Who's doing the investigation? Do we know?
It's the Marshal of... I wrote this down. Marshal... I didn't want to say it wrong. Marshal of the Court is that title. And his last name's Roberts.
So he's leading the investigation.
And he's leading the investigation, yeah.
Does it have? And I guess they're keeping that pretty close to the chest. Like,
yeah, there's not much.
Who's being interviewed?
Yeah.
What's being asked?
There's not
Till that
much
gets
out
leaked.
there.
It's just going to come down to when they bust the person,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. There's not much
Does
out
it say?
there at all.
Does anything you read said what they would, what the potential punishment could be for this, or what the potential, What, I mean, obviously you're going to lose your job, but
Yes, obviously they would be terminated, but
here's what I'm thinking is like, okay, a lot of people believe that it does have something to do with, this is a very active preliminary
midterms,
primary elections, so that it was done to, for a certain party to have a leg up in the elections and those kinds of things. But I think the bigger issue is going to be once the person is announced, and they probably know that person now. Here's
Yes.
my belief.
Yeah.
They probably know that person, but they're going further back to see who put them up to it, where they paid, was there a exchange of money, was this, how deep did it go?
Right.
And
Right.
because if they say who this person is, then everybody, so I think that's probably what's going on. Right?
Yeah, and you're probably right because, like I said, there's such a small circle of people who see these documents that, like I said, they're going to find who it was pretty fast. And another thing with the opinion in general, there's been a lot of protesting, obviously, lately. There's been protests outside of the Republican justices' homes. There's been protests outside of the Supreme Court building. There's protests going on everywhere right now. And with that, you would think that there would be a rush to... We'll just release the opinion. Just tell people what they want to hear, whether it's something they agree upon or not. Just release it because they're about to burn the city down. But actually, I read that they are going to continue the process just as they normally would. It probably will not come out anytime soon because that maintains the tradition of the Supreme Court.
Right.
The Supreme Court does not rush, and they want to maintain that tradition, and they don't want to break it. So they're going to take their time, and Travis is probably right. They probably do know who it is already.
So the the concern with this whole thing is, aside from information being leaked, is they're worried that now that the populace knows, and all these special interest groups and all these different individuals with agendas, they're worried that seeing all this is going to sway some of the judges to change their opinions based on like being threatened.
I don't think so, because
not being liked, or I mean, what exactly is the? Because I mean, even if they wait and make the decision, by the time the decision gets out that they've made, that's just how it is, right? So then, really, what is the big concern about it getting out?
Right. It's really just a tradition thing.
Right.
They want to preserve that tradition. They don't want to rush just because the media is pushing them to, just because that's what people want to hear. Because that's just not the way that they do things. And also, 5 of the 9 Supreme Court justices have already voted and signed on what their opinion is. So I don't think there'd be a huge sway. But yeah.
Kendall,
Sure.
which story do you find to be more intriguing? The Supreme Court leak or the Johnny Depp trial?
That's hard. I think that the Supreme Court leak has more to do with me and my generation and my life and what's going on in our country and a lot of things. My religion, my morals, a lot of different things come to mind. Whereas, like, you know, whatever happens with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard doesn't really affect me. It definitely speaks volumes for domestic violence and domestic violence awareness, which is important to me. But I would say probably the Supreme Court is more relative to my life.
Okay, let's flip it around.
I keep hitting this. I'm sorry.
If we were to take a national poll, would more people be looking into, reading about, searching articles, learning, what they can about the motivation of the leak case, the Roe versus Wade, or have more people spent time watching, assessing, laughing at, getting emotionally attached to the Johnny Depp trial? What do you think nationwide? What do you think's gotten more coverage and
I'd say the Depp Heard trial, and the reason I say that is because people are obsessed with celebrities, and I think most people, while the whole Roe versus Wade leak situation, that stuff affects people's lives more.
Right.
But I think because it's like a legal situation, a legal case.
There's no entertainment value.
Right, exactly. That's just it. So most people are going to be like, boring.
No.
So they're like, oh, Johnny Depp, he was in Pirates of the Caribbean. So they're going to watch that because for them, it's the same thing. It's like, sex sells, violence sells. That's the society we live in, and that's kind of I've been having, there's this, we won't obviously get into all this, but like with the school shooting that just happened the other day, I've gotten into a couple conversations about the whole situation with our country and guns. And I mean, I get people like having guns. I have a gun, but I only have a gun because the society and the system that we've built puts me in a position where I feel like I have to have a gun. That's the only reason why I have it. That's the only reason why, and that's part of it, right? But the flip side of that coin too is that people think having guns is a cool hobby. And
well, it is.
That's like saying having a Molotov cocktail collection is a cool hobby. It's like, why do you have a Molotov cocktail? Well, it was made to kill people. Well, that's what guns are. Right. So it's no different. It was just made to kill something more effectively than a bow and arrow, or a sword.
I will tell you this, and this, I don't want to hijack this entire podcast about guns. I mean, here's the thing. I like guns. I come from a family that we use guns. We hunt. We target shoot. We go out for sometimes for fun to plink at bottles. I've got one of my cousins is extraordinarily knowledgeable about guns and has an incredible collection of these. He spent time in the military, then he's come out, and it's his hobby. It is what he does. And here's the problem. It's like anything good. It in the hands of the wrong people, it can become catastrophic. And where we've
Right.
gotten in
I agree.
America, where we've gotten in America, I believe, is that it is extraordinarily easy for certain weapons, especially, to be in the hands of the wrong people. I think where the biggest part of the friction is why do certain people need certain types of guns as opposed to, hey,
Right.
you've got a 9mm handgun. That's okay, great. Not that it couldn't kill somebody, but these mass shootings are, automatic weapons that are where you can discharge, so many rounds per second, and you just spray a room.
Well, I mean, even if you have a semi, which like the AR-15 is a semi-automatic, right? So you shoot, you can only, it doesn't go like a machine gun, but you still can.
Oh, it's still fast.
You could still hold like 30 rounds versus
right.
10 or 15. Right. So the chances of you killing more is there.
Yeah.
But no, I mean I agree with you.
And I guess what got us to this point was if it's going to make a difference in society versus entertainment, and that shooting certainly has things stirred up about gun control, the governance over the gun issue. But I will wager to you that in about 2 or 3 days, Twitter will be silent about it, and the next thing that'll come up will be the next thing that'll come up. And
right. Well, I mean, look what happened with COVID as soon as the Ukraine war hit.
Right.
I mean, I know that'll probably stir up the conspiracy theorists, but I mean, really, if you look at it, as soon as the Ukraine war started, you saw almost nothing about COVID. And then like 3 weeks after that, suddenly Fauci gets on there and he's like, oh, well, we're all good.
Yeah.
Everything's good now, guys. And then, but I mean, that's one of the other things about our society is it seems like there's so many things that happen once you move on to the next thing. And that's really what the news is too. If you think about it, I mean, they have sponsors that's why you get commercial breaks in the news. They want you to, so they get those revenue dollars,
right,
and they want you to stick around. It has to be entertaining,
right,
and quick. But yeah, so I think once this blows over, it'll things will go back to the way it was until the next mass shooting, and then it'll be bad for a while on social media, and then it'll go back to normal for a little bit.
I just know this, that when it comes to what's filling up your reels, is that what they call it on Instagram, reels, or Facebook reels, and or TikTok, or those, it is one after another of the Depp trial. But I don't think I've seen a single one about the Supreme Court leak. Now I have seen a few about the shooting, but just sorrowful, those types of sympathy type things. But
I've seen very little about the Roe versus Wade leak.
That's what I'm saying.
I had to go
even
out
on
of my
Facebook.
way. I had to go out of my way, and it actually does surprise me because obviously it directly affects. It affects everyone. I'm a firm believer in it affects everyone. It does not just affect women. However, women are probably a little more drawn, a little more concerned with what's going on. So that does surprise me. But I think when it comes to the Supreme Court, it depends on where you look. I think that on the news, that's getting more coverage, and the Amber Heard Johnny Depp thing, it does, but it's on like Entertainment Tonight and the more fun news sources.
Right.
But social media, on the other hand, is flooded with Heard and Depp stuff.
Yeah.
So I guess it depends on where you look. But I did have to go more so. I mean, I couldn't just go on any form of social media and find the information that I found.
Yeah.
So
Well, if you go to YouTube, almost immediately, like I'll go to YouTube to play like music in the background or listen to a podcast, and almost immediately it'll be something about like
Camille Vasquez.
Fox News live feed from the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial.
Yep.
But I've seen nothing about the leak or the whole women's rights movement or any of that.
Right.
Now, I have a few friends on Facebook that'll talk about it every now and then. Now, when it first came out, my social media was just like flooded with all the comments and opinions and stuff of that.
The memes.
Yeah, but now it has almost solely gone right back to Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. Well, and of course now the school shooting. But I will throw this out there, and I don't know if you all know this, but Ray Liotta passed away today.
Yeah, did you know that, Kendall?
You know do you not know who Ray Liotta is? You know who Ray Liotta is, right? Do you really not?
He's lying to your face.
Goodfellas?
Oh, that Ray Liotta.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
No
Goodfellas.
Escape, Turbulent.
Have you not seen Goodfellas?
I've seen Goodfellas.
That's a pizza place.
What?
Is
it a
it's
pizza
really
place?
good. Yeah.
I didn't know
Lexington
that.
and Cincinnati
Okay.
and stuff. Sorry. Okay.
I got a couple things to say. First of all, thank you.
Ray Liotta, he doesn't care about you.
Well, he's dead, so.
Thank you, Kendall, for your update.
Of course.
And the discussion. We appreciate it. And you've also been working really hard on a brief for me, I hear.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to getting the first draft of that.
Yep.
We are not going to have really a whole lot of time to get to my choice of favorite cousin, where you guys were going to help me pick
So
that.
the answer is Ernie. And we'll call it there.
Well, congratulations, Ernie.
Congratulations, Ernie.
Can you name one of my other cousins?
Okay. Are they all guys?
No, I have
Okay,
three.
Sharon?
No, that's my aunt.
Okay.
That's
Dang it. Gosh.
How do you not know all of his cousins? I mean, come on.
Really?
I know.
All right, we're going to go.
Yeah,
Here's
okay.
what we're going to do today. We're
Refresher.
just going to introduce them by name.
Okay.
From oldest to youngest.
Okay.
Okay. Now, mind you, there were 4 boys. There were 4 brothers who had kids. And these are the 7 of us. Okay. Got it?
Yep.
There's Lisa, who is the oldest. Then there is me, Travis. Travis Leon, who I'm named after Leon, who is married to Sharon that you just asked about. So there's
yeah.
So there's Lisa, and then Travis.
Okay.
All right. This one's gonna get tricky. I believe it goes Darren, then Ernie, and if I'm wrong about that, I'll get a text. I think Darren is just slightly older than Ernie, but then after Darren and Ernie comes Shane, and then after Shane there is Sarah. And after Sarah, there is Cheyenne. Cheyenne is my youngest.
And her daughter is Rose?
No.
No.
Rose,
Ugh, who's Rose?
Rose belongs to Ernie.
Ernie. Okay. I know more than you.
Yeah.
So.
Then there's Niles. And
No.
then there's Carmichael.
No, there's none of those people.
Squire.
Gwendolyn.
So those are the 7. Lisa, Travis, Darren, Ernie, Shane, Sarah, Cheyenne.
Okay.
We have a text.
Cheyenne.
We have a group text. Lisa lives in Columbus, Ohio, or right outside Columbus. I live in Owensboro, Kentucky. Darren lives in South Florida. Ernie lives right outside Indianapolis. Shane lives about 40 miles north of Columbus, Marengo, Ohio. And then Sarah, she lives in South Florida. And then Cheyenne, who lives in the Marengo, Sparta area, Chesterville area of Ohio, and 40 miles north of Columbus. So we are spread out. 2 in Florida, 1 in Kentucky, and the rest in Ohio.
Well, Ernie's almost close enough to where he can come be a guest on
Ernie.
the podcast.
Ernie travels a lot, so maybe that's what we do is we get cousin Ernie on the podcast.
Okay.
Ernie, if you, after you listen to this, if that's something that would, maybe we bring Ernie in to discuss who my favorite cousin is. But that wouldn't be fair.
Because
the others.
It wouldn't, but it would be entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a lot of stories.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, we were close. We're tight knit. So anyway, we'll kind of touch on that for the next few podcasts. We'll be back to next week. I'll be in trial Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It looks like you're going to have to find some other guests.
All right.
I am in trial next week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Well, Kenny actually said something to me about us bringing him on the podcast.
I think that would be great.
So maybe we bring Kenny on because that'll be the weekend of my baptism. So it's next Sunday.
It'll be before your baptism.
Yep. Oh, I'm sorry. Is my baptism putting you to
Are
sleep,
we boring you,
Kendall?
No.
Miss, I yawn when we're doing podcasts.
Yawning means that you need more oxygen in your body.
Oh, well.
I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, I think
appear
it's
to be
if that's true, then why is it what's the word I'm looking for? Infectious, not
I
infectious.
can only answer so many questions.
But you know,
in one
like when
day.
someone yawns and then you feel compelled to yawn, if it's
it's sympathy, something. I just
if
had
your body's
psychology, it was
needing
awful.
oxygen, what does my body suddenly need oxygen?
Next week, you need to try to get Kenny to meet you at Dee's Diner.
I'm sure he'd do that.
And you need to find out who your third's going to be, if it's going to be Bennett or if it's going to be the intern.
I can. I'm kidding.
Hey, you know, if you want to pass up free food, that's cool.
Hey, you know I'm paying.
That is an assumption.
I'll pay.
Allegedly, he is paying. So.
All right. Well, this has been Law Light. It's been brought to you by Foreman Watson Holtry.
You had to put a mint in, though, right before you.
The thing is, he just. It sounds like he's breaking his.
He's like, thanks
skull.
for coming on Law
So,
Light
like,
Crunch.
ASMR. Okay.
People are into that.
You've told us that before, PJ.
Yeah, I'm not into that.
Okay. Anyways.
Let's get this over. There's going to be another thing.
I'm only into it when they rub their feet on the microphone.
No, that's enough. Thank you.
Oh,
You're
by
done.
the way, my daughter Kate.
Speaking of feet.
My daughter Kate, who had the BB.
And?
Yeah, you know what else?
What?
You don't know what it is yet. It hasn't.
Oh, okay.
But I got another story about Kate. She sold pictures of her feet.
In college.
Yeah, I think she talked about that on the podcast.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
BB Butt sold pictures of her feet.
For like $500 a pop.
Oh, really? I only had to pay $150.
Oh, PJ, that's terrible.
I got a discount.
Anyways.
All right. This has been Law Light, brought to you by Foreman Watson Holtry, FWHlegal.com. Check us out on all platforms of social media. If you need a good lawyer, you know where to find one. Until next time, thank you.
This case should never have come to trial.
I don't think it's fair to call my clients frauds. Because one time I turned into a dog and they helped me. Thank you.
Your Honor, we would like to withdraw our plea of not guilty and enter a plea of guilty.
This trial is a travesty. It's a travesty of a mockery of a sham, of a mockery of a travesty of two mockeries of a sham.
If we are to have faith in justice, we need only to believe in ourselves.
And the truth shall set you free!
How do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Oh, guilty, but with a real good excuse.
I think the truth will come forth. You can't handle the truth!